Alright, so like we had talked about, I'm not here today, so you're actually going to do a lesson. And even though I'm not here, I still expect you to follow along today. It's just going to look a little different. So you have a notes paper, you have your math journal, so you will need your math journal for this, so make sure you have that. And I'm going to ask you to pause the video at certain spaces or certain parts and write things down. And when I ask you to pause the video, I expect you to do that. So when I say pause the video, you are going to want to make sure you pause the video, okay, and write down that. Because in order to move on, you're going to need to get checked by the teacher. So today's lesson is about coordinate grids, and it's a very basic introduction lesson. So I think if you stay with me today, I think you're going to be okay. But if you have questions, feel free to ask the teacher, okay? They can certainly help you with this. Or ask a classmate. They can certainly help you with it. So let's dive in. So like I said, you'll need your math journal and your notes paper. So make sure you have that. Pause video. Make sure you have it. Pause video. All right, now that you have all your materials, today's lesson is called Introduction to Coordinate Grids. Here's our goal. Our goal is to be able to use ordered pairs to plot and identify points. Here's our key math vocabulary: perpendicular, coordinate grid, intersect, origin, axis, x-axis, y-axis, coordinates, plot, x-coordinate, y-coordinate, and ordered pair. There's a whole lot of words today, but we will be using this throughout the video, throughout the year. You'll get more used to these terms if they're a little scary for you right now. Here's our math message, though. I want you to turn to Math Journal page 127, and I want you to find the city of Tralee on the map, and then explain how you found it on your guided notes page. So pause the video and do that. Pause video. All right, so now that you've done that, let's see how you did, okay? So Tralee, if you look, here's locating cities on a map of Ireland. So this is a map of Ireland, actually. And if I can use this key up here, I can see that Tralee is at the point B2. So if I go over to B and then up to 2, here's Tralee. Okay? Let's try some others. Okay? So Dublin. If I wanted to find the city of Dublin in Ireland, again, I'm going to use this to help me. F4. So I'm going to go over to F, and then I'm going to go up 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see Dublin's on the very edge there. Let's try finding the city Carlow. So to find Carlow, I can go E3. So I'm going to go over to E, A, B, C, D, E, and then up 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's Carlow. All right, so now let's try some on your own. So if you guys look on here, I got 2 cities here that don't have a letter number pair. So find the city of Westport. Pause and write a letter number pair for Westport. Pause video. All right, let's see how you did. So Westport should be located at the space B5. So if I go over to B and then up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's Westport on the very edge here. Okay, so I could write the letter number pair B5 for Westport. Now, why don't you guys try finding the city of Wicklow? All right, so pause video, find Wicklow, pause. So let's see how we did for Wicklow. Wicklow should be over to F4. So here's Wicklow. Let's see if I'm right. Go over to F and then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's Wicklow. So I can write the letter number pair F-4 like that. All right. So just, again, double check your guided notes. Make sure that you have those correct on your guided notes. Pause video. All right, now that you have that correct, let's talk about some other things. Let's look at something else. So on the second page of your, on the bottom part of your guided notes, you're going to need to use this number line that you see on your screen here. So in the math message, we used letter number pairs to locate regions on a map. Today, we're going to learn how to use ordered pairs to locate specific points on a grid. All right, so here's my number line here, and I got the points A, B, C. How could you describe the location of points A, B, and C on the number line? So that's the bottom part of your first page on your notes. So go ahead and describe the points A, B, and C. Pause video. All right, let's see how you did. So you can see that point A is at 8, point B is at 3, and point C is at 6. So if you don't have point A is at 8, point B is at 3, and point C is at 6 on your guided notes page, pause video and make sure you have that. Good. Now, flip your page to the second page, okay? And I have this number line now on your notes page, okay? I want to know, where would I add these numbers? So I want you on that number line, I want you to find the point 2.5 and label it D. Find the point 4 and label it E. Find the point 7.5 and label it F. So give that a shot. Pause video. All right, let's see how you did. So 2.5 should be right in between 2 and 3. 2.5 is halfway between 2 and 3. So I can plot the point halfway between 2 and 3 and label that D. Point 4, that's just right on point 4. I'm going to label that E. 7.5 is right between 7 and 8, so I'm going to go exactly halfway between there, and I'm going to label that point F. All right. So now here's this question. I just want you to think to yourself. I don't want you to write anything yet. Is there a point on the number line for any number you can name? Why or why not? Just think. Well, after you thought about it, let's take a closer look. If you guys remember 4th grade, this is a line. Okay, I have arrows on both sides. That means I can extend this out forever, and I can extend it this way out forever. So no matter what number I have, I can always plot it. So yes, because the line goes on forever. So pause video and write that down in your guided notes. Pause. All right, now that you have that, let's look at this number line that you have. It's a little awkward here. So look at point D above the 4 on the number line. So here's point D. Can you guys describe the location of point D? Give it your best shot. Pause video and describe the location of point D. All right, you might have had some trouble describing this, okay? So there's a way to precisely locate any point in a two-dimensional space, even if a point that is not on the number line, by drawing two number lines that are perpendicular or right angles to each other to form a coordinate grid. And I'll show you on my next slide what exactly I mean by that. But for right now, you have a couple things that you need to fill in. So on your guided notes. So there's a way to precisely locate any point in a two-dimensional space, even a point that is not on the number line, by drawing two number lines that are perpendicular or right angles to each other to form a coordinate grid. So this kind of grid is called a coordinate grid. So go ahead, pause the video, and make sure you have those filled in your guided notes paper. Pause. All right, we turn to page 3 in our guided notes, and when you do that, I want you to turn to page 128 in your math journal. So pause video and do that. All right, now that you're where you need to be, okay, this is what I was talking about before. Here is an example of a coordinate grid. I got one line going this way, okay, and you know it's a line because it has arrows on both ends, meaning it's going on forever. And I have another line that is perpendicular. Perpendicular means it intersects, so it intersects right here, okay? So that's perpendicular to my line that's going horizontally right here. So I got two lines, and it formed a grid, okay? So number lines cross or intersect at the 0 point of each line. This is called the origin of the grid. So what I mean by that, number lines cross or intersect at the 0, right here. See that? And that is my origin, okay? So number lines in a coordinate grid are called axis of the grid. The number lines in a coordinate grid are called axis of the grid. So your x-axis is the horizontal number line, and your y-axis is the vertical line. So horizontal, going left to right, is your x right here. And you can see it's labeled x-axis. Vertical, up and down, that's your y-axis. Okay, going up and down like that. So you can see that's labeled the y-axis there. All right. So pause the video, fill in those blanks. So again, the number lines cross or intersect at the 0 point of each line. This point is called the origin of the grid. And the number lines in a coordinate grid are called the axis of the grid. The horizontal number line is the x-axis, and the vertical number line is your y-axis. Okay, so pause the video and fill in those blanks. Pause. Okay, now that you've filled in those blanks, let's find the origin of the grid. Okay, so on page 128, let's plot the origin. So remember, the origin is the point 0 of each number line. So the origin is right here. Let's plot the point, and let's label that point origin. So let's put a little arrow there, and let's label it origin. Okay. All right, pause the video and do that. Pause. All right, let's take another look at this now. Okay. So location of points on a coordinate grid are described by pairs of numbers that are written inside parentheses. For example, I can say that this is the ordered pair 3, 4. And here's 3, and I always have a comma to separate my two numbers. So 3, 4, and you always close it inside parentheses. If you do not have it inside your parentheses, it is wrong. So make sure your two numbers are always separated by a comma and that they are enclosed by parentheses. Here's another point, another ordered pair. Ordered pair 0, 6 inside parentheses. Okay. The numbers inside the parentheses are called coordinates. So this ordered pair 3, 4, that's called coordinates of the point, and marking a point on the coordinate grid is called plotting a point. Okay, so pause video and fill in those two blanks in your notes. Okay, pause. All right, let's plot some points now. Okay, so some helpful hints when we're looking at our points. So if I want to plot the point 3, 4, this ordered pair 3, 4, the first coordinate is called your x-coordinate. So your first coordinate is your x. Your second coordinate is the y-coordinate. So your second coordinate is your y-coordinate. So when you're plotting points, you always go over and up. So you always do your x first. So your x is your horizontal. That's why you go over. So you go over, and then your y is your second coordinate. So then you go up. So over and up. Okay? So if I want to plot the point 3, 4, I would go over 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can precisely plot that point right there where the point 3 and 4 intersect. Now let's plot the point 4, 3. So I'm going to go over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 3 this time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and let's make sure we label. So that first point we plotted was S, and the second point that we plotted was T. So pause the video and do that on your math journal, page 128. Pause video. All right, so what I want to know is our points. So look, we used the same numbers here, right? I have a 3 and a 4 for the ordered pair here, and I have a 4 and a 3 for the ordered pair here. So are my points S and T at the same location? Pause the video. No, they're not. So everyone should have written no there. If you said yes, let's look at here again. S is here, so 3, 4, and T, 4, 3 is here. So they are not at the same location. So if you said yes, make sure you change your answer to no. Pause video and make a revision if you need to. All right, let's look at this next question then. Does the order of the numbers in parentheses matter? Okay. Well, yeah, they do. All right. So yes, the first and second numbers give different information. The first coordinate tells how far over on the x-axis. So in the ordered pair 3, 4, we had to go over 3 on the x. And then the second coordinate tells how far up on the y-axis. So then we had to go up 4. For the point T, I had to go over 4 on the x-axis and up only 3. So the order of the numbers in the parentheses definitely matter. Remember, your first is your x-coordinate, your second number is your y-coordinate. So in the ordered pair 4, 3, the first number was our x-coordinate, the second number was our y-coordinate, okay? Pause the video and get this down in your guided notes. All right, so pause video. All right, now that you have that, let's continue plotting points, okay? So just to get us practice, let's plot the point 5, 9, okay? So for 5, 9, we're going to go over 5. Let's do this together. We're going to go over 5 and then up 9. So I'm going to go over and up. Remember, over and up. So over 5 and then up 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then let's plot that point precise, and then let's label it M. Pause video, make sure you have M plotted. Pause. All right, so now let's look at the mark N. I want you to try this one on your own, and then let's check it. So remember, over and up. So the 9's your x-coordinate, the 5's your y-coordinate. So give this one a shot and make sure you label it N. Pause video. All right, let's see how you did. So for the point ordered pair 9, 5, we're going to need to go over 9 this time and then up only 5. So over 9 and then up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to plot it N. All right. Now, on journal page 128, okay, we already labeled the origin. So let's go ahead and also label it U. So we're going to plot the point 0, 0. So the ordered pair 0, 0, well, I'm going to go over 0 on the x, and I'm going to go up 0 on the y. So I just stay right here, and let's label that U, okay? And you should also have that labeled the origin, okay? So pause video and make sure you've done that. All right, so now what I need you to do is we're done with our kind of our notes part, but we're going to do a couple of the problems on journal page 128 together. We're going to specifically do 2 and 3, and then you guys are on your own, all right? So I want you to write ordered pairs for point A, point B, point C, and the origin, okay? So, for example, if I needed to write the ordered pair for point A, I would need to figure out, okay, so here's point A. Let's see how far over on the x-axis, because remember that first number in an ordered pair is your x-coordinate. So I would have to go over, let's see here, over to 10, and then I have to go up 13. All right, so I'm going to go over 10, up 13. So the ordered pair, remember, it needs to be in parentheses. So parenthesis 10, that's my x-coordinate. I'm going to label that the x-coordinate above there. And then up, I had to go up 13. So 10, comma 13, because that's my y-coordinate. And then I enclose that in parentheses. So I go over 10, up 13. All right. So make sure you have that written down in your journal. Pause video. All right, let's look at point B, okay? I want you to try point B on your own. Remember, you go over, up. So you need to find your x-coordinate, then your y-coordinate, and write in an ordered pair. And it needs to be in parentheses separated by a comma. So pause video and try point B on your own. All right, let's see how you did. So for point B, it looks like I'm over 5 on the x-coordinate. So I'm going to start with my parenthesis, and I'm going to put 5 here because that's my x-coordinate, comma, and I also went up 13. So 13 is my y-coordinate, okay? Double check your work and make any revisions if you need to do so. So pause video and look. All right, now let's look at C. I want you, again, try C on your own. So pause video and write the ordered pair for C. All right, so let's see how you did for C. So C, I should go over 5 and up 9. Okay, so remember your x-coordinates first. So I go over 5, comma, and then up 9. So 5, comma, 9. So that's what your ordered pair should look like. So again, make any changes if you need to. Pause video and fix anything. All right. So now that so far you've labeled point A, point B, and point C, you've written the ordered pairs for that correctly. Let's look at D. You need to label the origin. Well, the origin is always at a particular spot. So pause the video and see if you can write the ordered pair for the origin, okay? All right, let's see how you did. So if you guys remember, if you use your notes, the origin is always right here. It's always at the point 0, 0. So to write the ordered pair for the origin, I go 0 on the x-coordinate, and I go up 0 on the y-coordinate. So the origin should look like this. Parentheses, 0, comma, 0, end of parentheses, okay? So pause the video, make any changes if you need to make any changes. Pause. All right, for number 3, you're going to need to use a straight edge, so use your geometry template, and we can sometimes connect points on a coordinate grid, okay? And actually, this is something that people in the real world actually do. So coordinate systems have many real-world applications, okay? It is fun to plot the points and connect the dots, but there's actually some real-world applications. For example, many computer graphic programs. So if you're someone that wants to go into computer graphics, if you want to code, if you want to create video games, if you want to create images on the computer, you'll actually use coordinate grids a lot, okay? So computer graphic programs use coordinate systems to tell the computer exactly what should appear at each point on the screen to create a desired image. So what you're doing actually has some real-world applications to it. So we want to make sure that we're connecting these points in a straight edge. So what you're going to do with your geometry template is you're going to connect the point A to B using your straight edge, and then I want you to connect the point C to B, okay, or B to C using your straight edge, okay? So then you should get an image that looks like this. Now what you're going to end up doing is, if you look at number 4, so on the same grid, you're going to plot and label the points listed below. So you need to plot all these points, and you need to label them. Make sure you label D, E, F, G, H, J, and K, and label them correctly. Because then what you're going to do for 5 is you're going to use a straight edge, and you're going to connect those points in alphabetical order, beginning with point C. So for example, I'll do one for you guys. If I plot the point D, 6, 10, that means I need to go over 6 and up to 10. So up to 10, I'm going to label that point D. And then I'm going to use my straight edge again. And I'm going to connect from point C to point D, like that, okay? When you're all done with everything, you'll get an image, okay? You should actually get a number, okay? So number 6 says, what image did you correct by connecting the points? So if you don't see a number, you did something wrong, and you're going to want to make sure you double check your points. The most common mistake is you probably didn't go over and up. So remember, make sure you're going over and up. So 6, go over 6, up 10, okay? So just make sure you're doing that and you're labeling your points correctly, okay? So what are you going to do? Well, you're going to continue. You're going to finish journal page 128 independently. You don't need to have the folder up. If you're really stumped, you can ask a classmate to help you, As long as they're teaching it to you, okay, they can help you. You can also ask the teacher to help you too, okay? They're there to help you. When you are finished with it, I want you to see the teacher when you're complete, okay? Then I want you to move on to these practice pages, okay? They're all review. So journal page 121 is interpreting remainder practice, and journal page, shouldn't say finish because I don't think anyone started it. Journal page 116 are fraction division story pages, number stories practice as well. So they're both review, but again, if you're having trouble, ask a friend for some help, okay? We're a community of learners. If you would finish everything, then you're on to a choice. You can do your homework, you can continue your 5th grade mission for Khan Academy, or you can do Challenge 24, okay? I would recommend maybe pausing this so you can see the to-do list so you know exactly what to do. I also have the to-do list on Google Classroom too, so you can kind of look at it there, all right? So, nice job today, and just take your time on journal page 128, all right? Off you go.